So currently all the UIs you've made so far, you've added everything manually, which takes time, but if you only add in a couple of elements, then it's not too bad. But if you're trying to add the full content of a shop, maybe somewhere like Amazon, if the stock keeps changing as well, how do you make sure that's constantly updated without having to rewrite your layout every single time? Well, the main answer is we use loops. So we've got a list here of data 2D array. Now this could be from a file, could be in the program, most likely it's going to be from a database. So we've got the item, the price, and the stock for each one. We want to just loop through these and create a button for each one. So where do we start? Well, we start with a loop. And what we want to do is just take every row, not every item, just every row at the moment, and we want to be able to put that into its own button. So one thing we're going to do is we're actually going to write what text we want on this button first. Now I'm just going to copy this in because it's quite long, but I'll explain it in a second. So what have we got? So I've got shop text, and this is the text I want on the button. So we're taking I, which is the current row, which it will start with the DVD row, and element 0, which would be the title of the product, which is DVD. We're then going to add a pound sign and convert to a string, shop stock I1, which back on our 2D array will be the price, which we've set at £5. And then finally, we've done the same again with stock, and we've added shop stock I2, which is the current row, and then the second element in that row, which in this case would be the stock. So now we've got that in place, we now want to add it to a grid. So we're going to do button grid. We want to create a brand new button, and we want to attach this to our master, which is our window, and then we want the text to equal shop text. And we're just going to close that there for now. And now we want to actually add everything together. So we just want to create a grid layout, and we want to do row equals I. So each row goes down one at a time, and then we want to set the column equal to 0 because we want it all to be in one column. Now, if we wanted each element to have its own button, so the title, the price, the stock, all to be individual buttons or individual labels, because we don't just have to use buttons, then we could use a nested loop, and that's why we'll use the column. But in this case, we're just going to use the row. So we're going to run the program. Might take a little while to load. And there we go. We've got DVD at £5 with a stock of 6, CD at £3, stock of 11, game at £3, stock of 6. And if we make our list any bigger, this will automatically compensate for that. If we delete elements, it will do the same. So it's very, very useful. One thing you might be worrying about though is what happens if I click the button? How do I know which button's being pressed? And this way it gets a bit more complicated. So we're going to come to the end of this expression, and we're going to add a new argument, which is our command. Now, normally with our command, we'll just pass in the function that we want to use. We have to do this a bit differently. So first we're going to do a lambda, which will allow us to pass an argument, and we're going to do I equals I. I'll explain what that does in just a second, followed by a colon. And then I want to create a new function in a minute called button pressed, and I'm going to pass through I. Now, if I was to do command equals lambda button pressed I, just like this, without this I equals I, it would always equal 2. Because what it will do is it will take the very last instance of I and add it to all buttons. But we don't want that. We want each individual button to have its own identifier. So we want to find out the I value of that button by which part of the loop it was in. So we just need to add this I equals I, so we get the exact one it was at the time it was created, instead of what I finished as. So now we've got that set up, we're just going to go back to the top of our program, and we're going to do button pressed as a new function, so we need to define it first. We're going to pass in I as an argument, and then we're just going to print I plus the string of I, just like so. And now we're going to run our program once more. And now when we click, you see that I equals 0, I equals 2, I equals 1. We're getting the exact index of the button, which means we can use this to say delete an item. So when an item is clicked, it's deleted or it's added to a basket. So it's very, very useful. We can do a lot with this. We could also have it if it deletes that, it removes the button and updates the entire screen.